Alright, welcome to the second episode of Mets Update with Toots, April 12th, the eve of the home opener tomorrow. So we're glad to have you with us and a lot to discuss. And here we go, episode 2.
Meet the Mets. Meet the...
Alright, for this first segment of Mets Update with Toots, we're just going to discuss the opening week that just concluded today. A 3-3 week for the first 6 games for the ball club this year, all on the road. 2 out of 3 in Washington, and losing 2 out of 3 at Turner Field in Atlanta before coming home tomorrow for the home opener, which, of course, I'll be in attendance for the 14th straight year, and it's going to be a rocking Citi Field. But just to discuss the team so far, what we've seen, you're talking about a 3-3 ball club. Didn't exactly impress in this first week of games. Saw some good things. Obviously, Harvey was the best thing to see, him come back and being the Matt Harvey we all expect. And Cologne surprised us actually with 2 great performances, but the problem with the team this first week has been the offense, and it's been inconsistent. And seen a few long balls, but for the most part, the lineup has been pretty boring to watch over this first 6 games. A lot of 1, 2, 3 innings, a lot of strikeouts. Not much speed with this team. They're going to rely a lot on power and big hits from guys in the middle of the lineup. But it's only the first week, so I'm not going to go crazy on either end of the good or the bad, because it's only been 6 games and a lot of baseball to be played, obviously. But it was at least nice to see the ball club get the 2 out of 3 in Washington to start the season, because last year they didn't win a series against Washington all year. And to come right out of the gate, take the first 2 out of 3, it was very nice to see. Again, the pitching performances in those series by Cologne and Harvey getting wins, and even DeGrom getting the loss, losing that ball game 2-1 in the middle game of that series. Still nice to see them take 2 out of 3. Went down to Atlanta for the weekend series. Didn't really play well in my opinion, and one thing that's starting to scam me is Wilmer Flores. We all knew coming in that this team needed a shortstop, but we settled on the fact, all right, whatever, we're going to go with Flores. He's got, he could hit, and that's the upside of Flores. Maybe he could be an above-average hitting shortstop. But so far, what you've seen defensively has been glaring, his deficiencies at the shortstop position. Throwing, turning the double play, you name it. He just doesn't look good out there, but I'll give him a little more time, obviously, but I don't think it's going to be as long of a leash as we all thought. And the other big thing that happened this week, obviously, was Henry Mejia testing positive for steroids, and he's going to look at an 80-game suspension. And we won't see him again until at least July. And, of course, that's not a good thing. The team, actually, in the post-game press conferences that night, you could tell it really got under their skin. David Wright was not happy, and a lot of the guys weren't happy about it, and they shouldn't be, because you like to see the stuff out of the game, but it's still around here and there, and guys are still trying to get away with it, and obviously Mejia was very stupid about it, got caught with a steroid that they really don't even use anymore. Used to use it in like the 80s and 90s, and no one ever thought you're going to try to get something like this to pass the test, but obviously, he didn't think, and he's going to be gone for half the season, but I think with a couple guys coming back, like Vic Black and Bobby Parnell, the bullpen's going to be fine. So, again, 3-3, 156 games to go. Not a huge amount of games played so far, but again, nice to see the series win in Washington. Same old story in Atlanta. We come back tomorrow for the big home opener against the Phillies at 1 o'clock. Sold out crowd, DeGrom on the hill. And we get ready to go to our first homestand of the year. So let's see what the mailbag's got. All right, welcome to the mailbag section of the show, where I take tweets, texts, pretty much any way you want to get in touch with me and ask me a question about the team, and I'll give you the best response I can. And the first one comes from Toes in Rutherford. With this new lineup, with David Wright batting second, of course, and as follows, who is calling the shots, really? Is it Terry's lineup, or is it more of Alderson's lineup? Listen, I've been saying since Alderson got here, and it's pretty much this way with the Moneyball type organizations. A manager's usually a extension of the front office, which means the manager's going to run a program pretty much based off of what the GM wants. I do think at the end of the day, Terry does have the lineup, but he's getting a lot of input from the front office and Alderson and the rest of his staff. There's no question about it. I do think in the end, Terry takes pen to paper and writes out the lineup card, but there's definitely big influence from the front office as far as the lineup. Absolutely, in my opinion. Second question comes from Phil from Yonkers. Whose batting entrance music are you most or least excited for this season? Well, Phil, thanks for the question. Again, I have a lot of opening day experience, so got a lot to offer on this one. But definitely my least excited to hear is going to be Daniel Murphy, because he's been coming out to the same Dropkick Murphys terrible song for the past 6 years or so. And I think it's time he makes a change. And also excited to see what DeGrom comes out to, being one of the big pitchers, what kind of music he comes out to on the mound. And then Harvey the following night as well. Third question comes from JP in Pequannock. JP, do you think the outfield fences being moved in is a good or a bad thing? And will that affect Lucas Duda as far as hitting 30-plus home runs? As far as the fences, obviously the Mets they want to see more home runs by their players. They claim they've done studies that if you used all the balls hit last year, they would have been helped more than hurt. Helped as far as hitting more home runs and hurt as far as letting up more home runs. That it's actually a positive for the team. You know, you have all these analytics and stuff. They figure these things out. Whatever. I mean, in my opinion, you're building the organization around pitching. I would have left it the way it was. They already adjusted it a couple times, but I guess if it helps the hitters, it's fine. If it doesn't kill the pitchers, it's fine. Whatever. I don't think it's that big of a deal. As far as Duda, obviously, if you move the fences in right field, it's going to help a guy like Duda. And I'm expecting over 30 this year if he stays healthy, to be honest. He had 30 last year. I'm looking for more. I really like the way Duda swung his first week. Had 3 hits today, including a couple against a lefty. So I think Duda's going to really be big time this year, if, of course, he can stay on the field. All right, just going to close this week's episode out with discussing tomorrow, which is going to be the home opener for the ball club as they come home to face the Phillies at 1 o'clock at Citi Field. Be their first home game of the year. Always a special day, in my opinion. I think a lot of Met fans tell you the same thing. A lot of baseball fans, for that matter. That opening day, first home game is always special. I know personally I try to get in there by the time they start the opening ceremonies every year, see the teams get announced, all that corny stuff, see some old timers come out, wave the cap, whatever. My opinion, that's always good stuff. I think this year it's going to be really exciting actually to see Harvey get called, on the foul line for the first time since he's been back, and I think the place is just going to erupt. He's going to get by far the loudest ovation in my opinion. I think it's going to be pretty electric. And crowd's always pumped up on opening day. Like I said, especially with this year being, the most optimistic really feel going into a year in probably 6 or 7 years. I think it's going to be pretty charged up there tomorrow, and I'm pretty happy to go. So, all excited for the home opener tomorrow. And we got a 3-3 team so far. Seen some good, seen some bad, and it's only the beginning, a long way to go. And we'll see you in a couple weeks for another episode of Mets Update with Toots. Thanks.
We working on a get up, dude? What get up? You stand up afterwards?
Fuck that.
Meet the Mets, meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your